Undercover lady CEO buys a bag at her own luxury store. Could not believe when she sees the arrogant salesperson. An old lady walked into her own luxury store, and they treated her like garbage. They judged her by her age, her clothes, her silence, and laughed behind her back. What they didn't know? She was the founder, the CEO, the woman who built the company from scratch with her bare hands. And today, she was going to find out who truly deserved to stay. It was a cloudy Tuesday morning in Manhattan. Shoppers strolled Fifth Avenue with designer bags in hand, but one older woman shuffled alone through the automatic doors of Verena Luxe, one of the most expensive handbag boutiques in the country. She wore no makeup. Her dress looked straight out of the 70s. People stared. One mother pulled her daughter away from the entryway as if poverty could be contagious. But inside that old lady was Verena Dalton, age 72, a self-made American businesswoman, the founder and CEO of the very store she had just walked into. She'd started Verena Luxe 4 decades ago after hand-stitching bags in her garage. Now it was a global brand, but lately she'd been hearing complaints from friends, from customers, even her own daughter. Your staff treats regular people like dirt, so she decided to find out for herself. Inside, the lighting was golden, the walls ivory, and the scent of luxury perfume floated in the air. Everything shimmered, except the mood around Verena. She stepped in slowly, her old leather shoes clicking softly on the marble floor. A young sales associate named Stacey caught sight of her from behind the sleek counter. Her perfectly glossed lips curled slightly downward. "Can I help you?" Stacey asked, her tone flat, brows raised in judgment as she gave Verena a once-over, from her faded floral dress to the scuffed handbag dangling from her wrist. "Yes, dear," Verena replied warmly. "I saw your emerald green handbag online. I'd like to see it in person." Stacey blinked in disbelief, then tilted her head. "That bag costs $8,000, she said, her voice slow and patronizing, as if Verena didn't understand numbers. "Maybe check our accessories rack near the door. We have coin pouches for $150. Verena smiled softly, choosing grace over offense. "I'd still like to see the bag." But Stacey just turned with a sigh and walked away. Verena stood there for a moment, unsure whether to follow or leave. Her heart panged, not just from the insult, but from the recognition. She'd been here before, not this store, but this feeling, being underestimated, being dismissed, being told without words that she wasn't enough. Then, just moments later, the double glass doors whooshed open again. This time the mood shifted entirely. A sharply dressed man in his 30s strode in. Gucci blazer, Rolex watch, loafers that probably cost more than Verena's first car. And suddenly, the store came alive. "Welcome, Mr. Langston," Stacey chirped, practically skipping to his side. Her voice changed, lighter, more musical. "We just got in a new platinum edition from Milan." "Right this way," she said, guiding him with an arm sweep that nearly knocked over a display vase. 2 other associates appeared like magic. One handed him a glass bottle of sparkling water. Another offered a scented towel. The store manager emerged from the back with a wide grin, shaking Mr. Langston's hand as if he were royalty. "Oh, you have to see the limited edition ostrich leather?" Stacey gushed, brushing imaginary lint off his shoulder. "It's so your style." Verena watched it all from the sidelines, her fingers tightening around the strap of her own modest bag. She glanced at a mirror on the wall, saw her own reflection, hunched and overlooked. Not a soul acknowledged her. She wasn't poor. She wasn't lost. She was the CEO of the company. And yet, she'd become invisible the moment she looked ordinary. Her chest rose with a quiet breath. "It's not about money," she thought. "It's about what they think money looks like." Then Stacey glanced back at Verena for a split second. Her eyes narrowed. "Still here?" she called across the room. "You sure you're not in the wrong place, ma'am?" Verena stepped forward slightly. "I believe I asked to see the emerald handbag," she said calmly. Stacey gave an exaggerated sigh. "Look," she said, hands on hips, "I just don't want you to get your hopes up. That bag isn't for everyone." Verena tilted her head, meeting Stacey's eyes for the first time with a sharpness that hadn't been there before. "Tell me," she asked softly, "what makes it not for everyone? Is it the price, or how someone looks when they walk in?" Stacey smirked again, clearly unbothered. It's just reality, lady. People dress for what they can afford. You don't walk into a Ferrari dealership wearing flip-flops. Verena's heart sank, not because of the insult, but because this was the culture her company had become. She turned away slowly, pretending to browse. But inside, something was building. Quiet, steady, like a storm gathering. She hadn't come just to test them. She had come to change everything. Just as Verena turned, her heart heavy and stepped slow, a soft voice stopped her. "Ma'am, I'm really sorry about that," said a young employee quietly, approaching from the side. She looked about 22, with warm brown eyes and a hint of nervousness in her voice. "I'd be honored to help you. That emerald bag is my favorite in the whole store." Verena paused. Something about the girl's tone, genuine, kind, broke through the fog of humiliation. She turned slightly and gave a small nod. "I'd appreciate that," Verena said softly. Elena smiled, her hands gentle as she guided Verena toward a private fitting room lined with tall mirrors and plush seating. She brought the bag carefully, as though handling a piece of art. "I think the green will suit your eyes beautifully," Elena said, "and the gold hardware really brings out warmth in deeper skin tones. You should see it in natural light. It's stunning." Verena chuckled, just a little. "You have an eye." Elena beamed. "I study fashion design part-time. I love watching customers fall in love with the right piece. Let me get you some jasmine tea. We just brewed a fresh pot." Verena sat down slowly, her fingers brushing over the emerald leather. The small moment of peace of being seen filled her chest with something she hadn't felt all day. Dignity. But it didn't last. The door flung open with a dramatic thud. Stacey stormed in, her heels clicking like gunshots. Her face twisted in rage. "This room is for real customers," she barked, eyes locked on Verena. Elena stood up immediately, her body shifting between Verena and Stacey. "She is a customer," Elena said, voice calm but firm. Stacey scoffed, arms crossed, her lip curling in disgust. "Please, she probably wandered in from the sidewalk looking for shelter. Look at her. She can't afford a shoelace in this store." Verena's smile faded. Her hand released the bag, and her heart, once full of hope, sank like a stone. Before Verena could respond, the store manager stepped in behind Stacey, flanked by a tall security guard. "I'm sorry, ma'am," the manager said, his voice tight, "but I'm going to have to ask you to leave the premises." Elena's jaw dropped. "What? Sir, this isn't right." "She's disturbing other guests," the manager snapped. "Please escort her out, now." The guard stepped forward. Verena watched everything unfold in front of her, her frustration simmering under the surface. It wasn't about the price tag, it wasn't about the bag, it was about how people were being treated based on assumptions, about how easily we overlook dignity when we're blinded by appearances. If you believe we need more kindness, more empathy, and more stories about standing up for what's right, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Together, we can build a community that believes in change. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers, and your support would mean the world to me. Now back to story. Verena stood still, no panic, no anger, just calm. She reached slowly into her old handbag and pulled out a slim leather wallet. From it, she retrieved a single ivory card, edged in gold. "Before I go," she said softly, offering it to the security guard, "please make sure your regional manager sees this." The guard glanced down. Then his eyes went wide. He looked back up, jaw twitching, hand trembling slightly. The manager reached for the card, snatched it, and read the words aloud, his voice cracking. "Verena Dalton, founder and CEO, Verena Luxe Holdings." The room froze. Time stopped. You could hear the air conditioning hum, the click of a distant stiletto heel. Everything else was silent. Elena gasped and stepped back. Stacey's mouth opened, but no words came. Her eyes darted between the card and Verena's face, color draining from her cheeks. The manager's face turned red. Ms. Dalton," he stammered. We didn't realize." Verena held his gaze. "I know you didn't," she said. Her fingers reached up and removed the gray wig from her head, revealing her sleek silver bun beneath. Her posture straightened, her voice cool but sharp as glass. "And that's the problem." Silence again. Then she turned to Elena. "Thank you," she said, her voice warming, "for treating me with dignity. That's the kind of heart I built this company on." Elena blinked rapidly, tears gathering in her eyes. I just did what I thought was right." Verena touched her hand. "And that's exactly why you'll be hearing from me very soon." She stepped past the stunned crowd, the emerald bag still sitting untouched on the velvet cushion. But no one would ever forget what just happened. Not Stacey, not the manager, and not a single person who thought power only looked like Prada. That afternoon, every employee at the flagship store was called in. They stood silently beneath the crystal chandeliers, surrounded by velvet display cases in silent judgment. Tension buzzed in the air, some shifting uncomfortably, others pale with anxiety. In the center stood Verena Dalton. No disguise now. Gone was the slouchy cardigan and wig. She wore her signature cream pantsuit, tailored perfectly, elegant and commanding. Her silver bun was pinned high, and her presence filled the room with quiet power. She let the silence settle before speaking. "I built this company from scratch," she began, her voice calm but resonant. "From a tiny stall at a flea market to over 100 boutiques worldwide. And I was raised by a mother who worked 2 jobs and never owned a handbag to treat janitors and CEOs the same." She looked slowly across the faces in front of her, some ashamed, some scared, some still trying to process what had happened just hours before. "When," she asked, her tone growing sharper, "did we forget that?" A pause. "When did we start looking at someone's shoes before looking them in the eyes? When did we start judging by clothes, wrinkles, or wallets?" No one dared speak. Verena walked slowly, hands clasped in front of her. "I came here undercover to see how we treat our customers. Not the ones in designer suits, not the influencers, the real ones. The mothers buying 1 bag in 10 years, the husbands saving up for their wives' birthdays, the grandmothers who walk in quietly and hope someone notices them." She stopped. Her eyes met Stacey's. "If your first instinct when someone walks through those doors is to laugh, sneer, or roll your eyes, you don't belong in this company." Stacey looked away, her face burning. Verena continued, "This isn't about luxury. It's about grace. It's about respect." Then she turned to Elena, who stood near the back, still unsure whether she belonged in that room. "Elena," Verena said, and every head turned, "you didn't know who I was. You didn't see a title or a dollar sign. You saw a person." Elena blinked, stunned. I just wanted to help." Verena smiled gently. "And that's exactly why starting today, you're our new store trainer." Gasps echoed around the room. "You'll be teaching every new employee what it really means to serve with dignity, because you see people, not price tags." Elena covered her mouth, eyes filled with emotion. "Thank you, Ms. Dalton. I won't let you down." Verena stepped back, her final words echoing in the stillness. "Luxury is earned, not worn, and kindness is the first thing anyone should wear in this building. Let that be your new dress code." And with that, she walked out, leaving behind a room forever changed.